ready to put the intake manifold on. I'm sure that sounded real good. I'm going to use one of these, I don't know what to call them, Packard pry bars, not exactly pry bar, but we use that to make sure that the gasket and manifolds lined up before I start dropping bolts in. Then I'm ready to put bolts in. Yeah, this thing's dangerous. I already hit my arm on that thing once already. Left a pretty good bruise. Alright, so you kind of see the method there. Just going to drop the bolts in there, then I'll just start torquing them down, center in a circle or X pattern, and work my way up. Before I button up the rocker arms here, I want to show a little bit of difference between the two styles. These are the Proform rockers, and as you see, there's a couple little rails here that align the rocker to the top of the valve. The Speedmaster ones that I got wasn't like that. They for their alignment, they had those bushings that went in between there that I was grinding down and shimming. That way I get the spacing correct. So they do use a little, I guess it's an Olight washer right here that goes in between the hold down. The nice thing about the Speedmaster ones was they had billet hold downs on there, and I did have to go in and replace the bolts. They were too long, but overall, very nice set. I just ran into issues with my cylinder heads and the push rods. The clearance between the push rod and the head, it was actually hitting with the 1:6 ratio rockers. So nothing on those guys who made them. They made a nice piece. In order to use them on these heads anyway, in this setup, I need to grind those push rod holes out. Anyways, the intake is on. I got the carburetor loosely set on there because I plan on going with a spacer underneath there, a 4-hole, and I don't have one of those handy. So these studs that I have, they're pretty nice. They're from Canton Racing, and they got the little Allen head to drive them in instead of doing the 2-nut method to get them in there. And they got a nice flange nut that comes with those. So anyways, one other thing that I think I didn't mention before is if we look at this oil pan gasket right here, it's not your standard small block Mopar. It's, you know, the old school LA stuff. There's actually a Magnum oil pan gasket, and I can get away with that on this engine because it's a 360, and you can use the Magnum gaskets, oil pan gasket, on the 360, but you can't use it on the 318. I think it's the rear main cap is a little bit different between the 318 and 360, so they corrected that on the 5259s, so those will use this same gasket here. So that's a one-piece molded gasket, and well worth the money on those things. Alright, I'm about to cover up these rocker arms, and one thing I want to note is I went through and put a little bit of anti-seize on each one of these rocker arms. And what I'm going to do is, once I get my valve cover on, I'm going to spin the engine over a couple times and then pull it off and see if I have any witness marks from this wet anti-seize on there. So I got these valve covers from Mancini Racing, and they're actually a Speedmaster part of the PCE brand, and they're fabricated valve covers. So I'm going to get these on here kind of loosely. I'm not going to torque them super tight, just because I want to do my check for the clearance from the rocker arms. So I've already handled these a little bit and got greasy fingerprints all over them. These are a polish, and then I think they come back and do a clear coat on them. I didn't want anything that was just straight polished aluminum, just because that's just so hard to maintain. I'm not looking at building a show engine that I never run and just spend my weekends polishing. So to all you people who actually have those things, more power to you, but I want to use mine, not sit around and polish it. So if you saw my build on the 89 Mustang Gym, one with a satin black and just a real basic, easy to clean design, that's kind of my philosophy there, is more usage and less maintenance. So I have these on there fairly loose, just kind of hand tight, which isn't going to be how the engine runs. I just want to check the fitment on there. So after I get the other side on, I'll turn it over a couple times and pull them off and see if I have any witness marks on there, and hopefully it's good to go. Alright, so I'm doing some final work on the heads here on this engine. I've removed the stud that's in there. It was a factory stud, and the threads were getting a little bit of wear onto them, so I'm just going to took that one out and it's cleaning it, and I'm working on getting the other one out, and it turns out that one is now a two-piece stud. So here's the other piece of it. Unfortunately, the other piece is in the block. So yeah, it sucks, but I'd rather be working on the engine stand than have it in a vehicle and then try to remove that. So the other side's already had the studs replaced. Watch out for this thing here that'll get you. So those have been replaced. I took those out, kind of cleaned them up a little bit, did some blue RTV on it. These studs on a small block Mopar go into a water jacket, so you need to put some sort of sealant, thread sealer or something on those. That way you don't get broken studs like what I have on these factory ones. So I'll go through that and maybe put some pictures on that. Edit the tool throwing on it. At this point, the option I have is to come in there and try to square up on it and drill into it and try to drill it out and not bugger up the other threads. Okay, so I've got this 360 Mopar all put together. It's all cleaned up and painted. Got all my new parts in it. I went with the Speedmaster valve covers, these fabricated aluminum valve covers. They look fairly sharp, and they give me a little bit of extra clearance for those rocker arms. So when I got this engine, it really wasn't in good condition. It was kind of broken down and needed a lot of work and needed repainted and needed new parts in it, and just completely reworked. And it wasn't alive, and what I've done is I've given this engine new life so that it can give another automobile new life as well. And in the same way, that's kind of what Jesus does for us. And when He saves us and gives us life and life abundantly, we're not to keep it to ourselves. We're to go out and spread that and give other people life, build other people up as well. So, anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the build of this 360 Mopar, and subscribe to my channel if you don't mind, and keep watching more stuff that I'm coming up with.